Hey guys, what's up? How are y'all doing? I hope you guys are doing amazing. I hope you guys are doing great. And I hope you guys are living your best life to the best of your ability every single day. So today's video, we're gonna be talking about emotions, okay? Now, listen y'all, I'm no fucking therapist. I'm not a professional in the sense, but you don't need a professional to be talking about this type of shit, okay? But I'm just saying, like, I'm just here sharing my experiences, sharing my wisdom. So take what feels good, leave what doesn't. But before we get into that, I wanted us to take a nice deep breath together so we can settle into our body for a second and just like be in the present moment. So I'll guide y'all. So just close your eyes, settle your energy, relax. You're safe, you're protected. Okay. Inhale. Hold and exhale. Okay, so here's the thing about emotions, y'all. Emotions are indicators of what's going on inside the body and what your body is feeling. And sometimes emotions lie to us, okay? Sometimes emotions are just there because they're there, because they've been around for too long. Sometimes emotions are there, you know, because we've just gone through something, whether it be grief, whatever. They come in all different ways, shapes, and forms. But here's the important thing to know about emotions and emotional regulation. There's a time and place to feel and sit with your emotions, and there's a time and place to understand and figure out where these emotions are coming from. It's this duality that comes with healing. Especially if you have been feeling a certain emotion over and over and over again, and you're like, what the fuck? That is your indicator. That is your key to start figuring out what is making you feel like that. And sometimes, guys, half of the times the emotions that we feel on a day-to-day basis, especially if they're heavy and they're harsh, they're not from the present moment. We have taken these emotions from the past and we just hold on to them and we just live with them, and we think it's a normal thing to live with all these types of emotions and crazy things, but it's really not. It's important to understand and figure out where certain emotions are coming from. So, anger, for example. Let's say you went through childhood trauma of some sort, okay? And this childhood trauma was caused by your parents. You grow up, you know, you start really realizing and understanding your childhood and yourself. So let's say you've been feeling this anger and you're like, what the fuck? Like, why am I feeling like this? You start doing the shadow work, you start doing the journal prompts, you start listening to your body, and you finally figure out that this anger that you've been feeling has come from your childhood and has come from resenting your parents because they did this, they made you feel like this, right? And sometimes you don't even realize that you have had this in you for so long until you step back and you realize what it's tied to. So that is what I'm talking about when I say you need to figure out where certain emotions are coming from. And this happens with sadness, resentment, all of those harsh negative feelings, right, that we carry around. A lot of the time, y'all, it's not from the present, it's from the past. It's from our past. It's from what people did to us. It's from what people said to us, what we've gone through. That is what I mean by figuring out where it's coming from. That's the best advice I can give, because this is where you need to step in and figure out what's going on with you. Figure out where it's coming from, okay? Unpack. Ask yourself questions. Why am I feeling this anger? Why do I feel it when I'm all alone and when I'm in complete silence? Why does anger and sadness come up, right? You need to start asking yourself, start journaling down just whatever you're feeling. Just start journaling down what you think it might be tied to. Just even if you don't know, just write it down. You know, it could be tied to this, it could be tied to this, whatever. Now, you have that. But the other side of the coin is making sure that you feel your emotions and you don't second guess it and you don't try to fight it. So once you have identified the source, it doesn't mean that that emotion is going to stop, but it doesn't mean that your body is not going to bring that emotion back up. So this is when you start feeling heavy emotions out of nowhere, anxiety, whatever it may be, feel it and validate yourself. Don't go, why am I I feeling like this? Like, I shouldn't be feeling like this. I need to feel happy. I need to feel joy. Like, I can't be feeling this. The minute you do that, you start invalidating yourself, you start invalidating your experiences, and it doesn't work. So, for example, let's say you're just chilling, you're reading a book, you're doing whatevs, and you start feeling sadness, for example. Sit with it. Don't fight it. You recognize what's coming up, you recognize the feeling, sit with it. You need to sit with it. And this is where people don't like to do it, because they realize that they have to feel these heavy emotions, which is uncomfortable, bro. Nobody likes to feel those heavy emotions, and that's where escapism comes in, right? That's where people start trying to distract themselves with things and they don't want to feel it. But that is like the time, the prime time, where you need to allow the emotion to flow through you. You need to allow the emotion to just be there. Don't try to fight it. Just be with yourself. Focus on your breath whenever you start feeling those emotions. Let me show you guys an example of what I do. Usually it comes up when it's like quiet or silence, and I'm not really doing anything. I'll start feeling anxious. And I figured out why. As a kid, I was always on fight or flight at a very, very young age. I was always waiting for the next shoe to drop, and it did. And I've just carried that throughout middle school and high school. So now it's like that I'm safe. Now that I'm becoming more connected with my body and remembering and telling myself that I'm safe, my body tries to like trick me, like, well, what if something happens? What if something happens? But I know that that fear that I'm feeling of like the next shoe to drop, it came from childhood, bruh. It came from me waiting for the next bad thing to happen. But now that I am in control, I understand where it's coming from, and now I can let it flow through me. So I'll be sitting there, I'll feel it, and a lot of the time what I do, guys, put your hand on your heart, okay? Feel that skin to skin connection, that hand to heart connection, and start breathing through the emotion and allow the emotion to flow through you, guys. A lot of the time we feel a lot of emotion in our chest, in our gut, this space. Just allow it to flow through you, right? It's the truth. Allow it to flow through you. Start breathing, start focusing on your breath. Breathe in and breathe out, and imagine when you're breathing out that emotion. But while you're doing this, you're also allowing yourself to feel the emotion. Your emotions are indicators of what's going on inside of the body, so don't ignore it. When you feel a harsh emotion, recognize it. Stop dismissing it as like whatevs, because it's not whatevs. It's trying to tell you something about yourself, y'all. It's this weird like back and forth of figuring out where these emotions are coming from, but also allowing yourself to feel it without beating yourself up that you're feeling it, without questioning it, okay? It's this like balance between them. But I promise you, the more that you become in tune with your body, the more you become in tune with how you are feeling, the easier this process will become, because you're gonna start recognizing a pattern with certain emotions. You're gonna be like, bitch, I felt this before. You know, you're gonna be like this is obviously tied to something that has happened. But once you've realized that, guys, you can start letting it go. When you start feeling those waves of emotion, you can start letting it go, and you can start letting it flow through you. Let's say you start feeling emotion and you fight it, and you're like, no, and you distract yourself. Oh, I need to do this, and what you're doing is you're storing that emotion within you, guys. You are literally stuffing that shit inside of you, and you're not feeling it, and that's not good, because your body stores emotions. Your body has a body intelligence. It knows what the fuck is going on, because your body remembers that it was in this place that I got that emotion. It was in this place that I felt that. Like, for example, when my mom died in this house. Sometimes like my body will feel those emotions of when my mom passed away, because my body remembers, like, especially if I'm in certain areas of the house, I start feeling a lot of heavy emotions. I'll be like, you know, this is tied to something else. So this is where like the self-awareness comes through, right? This is where you need to step up and start paying attention and stop ignoring what you're feeling, but also validating yourself and telling yourself it's okay that I'm feeling like this. It's okay that I am experiencing this. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So, my loves, figure out where your feelings and emotions are coming from. Validate yourself, okay, and understand that those emotions that you feel are valid, and feel your emotions and let them go and just let them flow through you. Like how I say, emotions are indicators. They are also your teacher. Next time you feel an emotion, sit with it, be with it. Feel it and let it go. Don't hold it around for too long. Okay, my loves, you got this. This process, it will be a repetitive process. This process will happen a couple of times, maybe probably more than a couple times if I'm going to be honest. But that is where your healing work is being done, my loves. I'm right next to you on this journey. You got this. And I believe in you. If I can do it, bitch, you can do it. I promise you. I love you. Mwah.